What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for August 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Monday edition of the podcast. Yesterday, we won a game, and if we win one today, it'll be 2 in a row. Not going to go too much more into that because it quite possibly, other than Caddyshack 2, might be from the worst sequel to a great original ever. But the point is, the Phillies won. They have finally ended that 6-game losing streak. Zack Wheeler was just outstanding. 2 hits, a walk, 9 strikeouts over 8 innings, 6-0. Looks like the offense may have turned a corner. Schwarber led off the game with a homer. It appears that Bryce, I guess you can fairly say after going 3 for 4 with a homer that he might be out of his slump now. And I think what happens is, and I think more so than anybody else in the city, maybe minus Jalen Hurts, is as Bryce goes, the Phillies goes. And that was no more evident than what transpired over that losing streak. And Bryce just couldn't get anything done. And in turn, sort of held up and had everybody else, I shouldn't say held up, but had everyone else not necessarily performing their best. Bryce has a good game. All of a sudden, everyone else seems more relaxed, and you see what happened. But I think other than maybe Jalen and Joe, Bryce is the most important player in the city, and that was so evident yesterday. Braves also lost, so somehow, some way, after losing 6 series in a row, losing 6 games in a row, the Phillies still have a 6-game lead. And there we go. I can't explain it, but there's just, maybe there is a little bit of luck with this team and a lot of, maybe not luck, but good fortune or good bounces. I mean, because they could have very easily been down to like a 3-game lead throughout this whole thing or less, but the Braves just did not want to snatch it. And then you look at Marsh's catch yesterday. That was certainly some divine intervention there. Lost it in the sun, just stuck his glove out, and magically the ball fell in it. And that's why I kind of believe that this team has turned its fortunes around slightly. But we'll see. Big series coming up against the Dodgers in LA. Dodgers will be looking for revenge. And now that the Phillies ended the losing streak, I can get back to my normal hating of West Coast baseball. No chance I will be up to see even the first pitch tonight at 10:10. But let's go Ariana. Keep it rolling because Zack Wheeler put the blueprint out now. Now you all have to start keeping up with it. But again, I'm not quite ready to say all the way they've turned the corner, but certainly a lot of positives to take out of that game. And overall, you saw it throughout the series. They've been hitting the ball better than they have been. So I think this could be the start of turning everything around and getting back to where they were. And then there's the way the calendar is lining up. If they can start doing that, they will be playing well heading into the postseason. Let's recap yesterday's question of the day. I asked you, do you believe that the Phillies will turn this around? And it was split 50-50 down the middle. I wonder how many of those no's came in before the game. But I know because of just the history of the past 2 years, there's a lot of scar tissue. There's a lot of PTSD. So I completely understand why 50% of you think that they will not turn it around. But I wonder if I did the same vote today, if your answer would be the same. But a good win, 6-game lead now heading into a big series against the Dodgers. They can still get to that 5-win mark if they win 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers, 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks. All of a sudden we went 5-5. It's kind of like a no harm, no foul. But the Dodgers will be tough because they're going to be looking for revenge from that sweep in Philly. But the Phillies finally ended the losing streak. So as Major League 2, let's go get a winning streak. All right, be sure. Thank you for participating in the question today, as always. Be sure to go follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mott, Twitter and TikTok. on Instagram at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe at Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Leave a review. And you can always call or text the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get your thoughts on anything Philly sports related. Get it off your chest. Use it as a vent line. Whatever you need to do. Do you think the Phillies have turned the corner, or is just a little one-off and they're going to go back to playing like crap again? Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. They are in the middle of their baseball season, getting ready, gearing up for football season, which is right around the corner. And then go to Philly Goat, do your back-to-school shopping. I'm telling you, look through their catalog of shirts. Your kids are going to love them. They have the stickers for their water bottles, hats, hoodies, whatever you need. Go to Philly Goat. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That helps the podcast out as well and lets Ryan know you're listening. But phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. And then your kids will be able to show their support for the Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, Eagles, Union, whatever you want as they go back to school. All right, some Eagles news. And not really a lot going on, just another day of practices. They're gearing up for that preseason game on Friday. But C.J. Gardner-Johnson spoke to the media, and I really like the defense is going to be better simply because he's back there. He definitely brings a little bit of swag, but flat out said he laid ground rules for the reporters, which was amazing. He said, we're not talking about last year. It's a new team, new roster, new year. Doesn't matter what happened last year. We're getting better. And then went on to say, they asked him something about his style or what. And he's like, listen, I'm a throwback. 10, 15 years ago, he's like, you guys all love guys like Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, Sean Taylor, and Ndamukong Suh, guys that were feisty, passionate, and didn't take any crap from anybody. That's me. So there's definitely going to be a little bit of a swag to this team this year, and I'm all for it. I'm loving it. I wish they would have never gotten rid of him, but here we are. You know, sometimes you take a little break, you come back, and you're stronger than ever. That's what I'm looking to see out of C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Union, 1-1 draw last night. However, because it was a Leagues Cup game, it did go to penalty kicks, so the Union did get a point, meaning they won their group, but they did lose the game technically on PKs 5-3. And we were down there, got to sit in the pen box. It was incredible. Daniel Gazdag hit the equalizer in the 88th minute. Like I said, they lost on penalty kicks, but this was a chippy game. It was a lot of fun. And I don't know if they traveled or they were all from the area, but the majority of the crowd was Cruz Azul fans, and those Mexican fans were incredible with their cheers, their chants, everything that was going on. And I don't know, like, soccer is just different, man. It is 100% different. And I bet that if you go to like a New York Red Bulls Union game, it was not going to be like how this game was, because that Cruz Azul fans, they were, even when we parked walking in, they were doing their cheers. It was sort of like not necessarily as big as Premier League would be, but sort of like that minor league sort of. It's different than anything I've ever experienced. And I've been to international friendlies before, and soccer crowds are just different. I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, go to the link, do that. Soccer's just different. And I guarantee that, I shouldn't say guarantee, I would go out on a limb to say a normal Union game would not be as intense as this. The kids loved it. It was just like when that goal scored for the Cruz Azul, and it's obviously a smaller stadium. It was loud. It was really, really loud because of the Azul fans, but it was just a great experience. The Union did salvage the draw, which means, or I guess the overtime. I don't know how they would do that, but basically they got the point, won it, and then they will be hosting Montreal on Friday. I think we all became fans of the Union because it was just an incredible experience. That stadium is beautiful. Definitely, if you've never been down, I recommend going. But again, I don't know if the atmosphere will be the same because those fans from Mexico, man, I'm assuming they're from Mexico. I would assume because it was a Leagues Cup tournament game, a lot of folks traveled up from Mexico. I know we have a larger Mexican population in the area. Cruz Azul is one of the bigger teams, I think, in Liga MX. So there probably was a lot of fans in the area. But, man, they showed out, and it was a great scene, great atmosphere, a lot of fun. Union, like I said, were able to get the draw, and they're moving on in the Leagues Cup to the round of 32. But that got me thinking, and this is today's question of the day. Which of our four major teams have the best game day experience? And it's tough for me to say because as an Eagles season ticket holder, one of the reasons I still go down there is for the fan experience. Watching the game, I'm not going to lie to you, watching a football game live sucks. There's no other way to describe it. It's absolutely terrible. There's a lot of downtime. When you're watching on TV, you get replays and all the analysis in between. When you're watching a game live, it absolutely sucks. But being there when touchdowns are scored, the whole experience, stepping off the subway, that is the reason I go down, not to watch the game, because you get a much better view, much better experience watching on TV. I think for the Phillies, it's a lot of fun being there in person. Sixers, it's kind of like, they do a lot of good things, but same way with the Flyers. I think Sixers and Flyers, a lot of it depends on when or how the team is doing. But now, you let me know. Which of our four major teams has the best game day experience? I'm telling you, it's going to be hard to top that what I had experienced last night. But 267-495-8531, that's the Back to the Future voice and text line. Which of our four major teams have the best game day fan experience? Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, or Flyers? Let me know. You can vote on any of the social media. Call or text the Back to the Future voice and text line. Comment wherever you're watching this. But which of our four major teams has the best fan experience? It's tough for me. I'm probably going to have to lean Phillies just because, yes, there's downtime, but there's a lot going on during that downtime where the Eagles, you don't get to see the replay, you don't get to hear the breakdowns and things like that. But let me know what you think. Which of our four teams have the best game day experience? 267-495-8531. Get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. A little bit of a Sixers news. I'm not sure if I said this yesterday or not. Marcus Morris is basically, I know I mentioned it the other day, it's down to us and the Cavs. And apparently he is leaning toward the Sixers. The Cavs can offer him more money. I think I did mention this. And they can offer him a spot in the rotation. But the chance to come home and possibly win with the hometown team, I guess right now he is still deciding what he wants to do, which is why there's no move yet. But not a lot going on with the Sixers other than Joe playing in the Olympics and then seeing if they're going to sign Marcus Morris or not. All right, today we're going to go way back to 1921. And on this day, 1921, the Phillies lost to the Pirates 8-5 at Forbes Field. The Pirates scored 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th to win it. It was a tie game until that point. Up until this point, though, in Major League Baseball history, the only way to see a game or follow your team was to either go to the game live or read about it in the newspaper the next day. But more people than normal had access to this game. KDKA out of Pittsburgh broadcast this game, becoming the first ever Major League Baseball game to be broadcast on the radio. Harold Arlin did the play-by-play. He sat in a field box and had a makeshift microphone made out of an old telephone. It was one of the first sports ever to be broadcast of any kind in the United States. Now, today, every Major League Baseball team has their flagship radio station. You can listen to the game on Sirius XM. There's National Major League Baseball Radio. I have the MLB package or MLB TV package. and you have the opportunity, even if the Phillies, you can't watch your local team, but even if they're blacked out, I do this sometimes when I'm sitting on the back porch, just kind of hanging out when it's nice out. Just put the game on the radio and listen when you're doing work or whatever. But TV obviously has since taken over the radio. I still, like I just mentioned, listen to the radio a lot when I'm driving, mowing the grass, when I'm doing work or whatever. I'll put the game on sort of in the background. It's kind of like a soothing sort of thing. Obviously, back in the day with Harry Callis, they used to do the rotation where they do a couple innings on TV, go to the radio, and come back. But it did not catch on, believe it or not, right away in Major League Baseball until probably about the mid-30s, so almost like another 10, 15 years, because a lot of the owners didn't buy in. There were some teams that were like, yeah, we want to expand our brand and let more people get involved, thinking that it's going to allow and get more people to come to the stadium. Other owners, however, were like, no, if we let them listen to the game on the radio, they're not going to come. So it did take a while, but it did catch on. But on this day in 1921, the Phillies lost to the Pirates in a game out in Pittsburgh, the first ever to be broadcast on the radio. KDKA out of Pittsburgh, and Harold Arlin was the play-by-play guy on a little makeshift microphone sitting in the stands. Pretty cool stuff. All right, today finally our Philly Olympic spotlight is Ariana Ramsey. She's a member of the Rugby Sevens, and she is from Bridgeport, PA. Upper Marion High School graduate, went to Dartmouth, where she graduated as well. She's the first Dartmouth rugby player to compete in the Olympics. She's a two-time Olympian, including this year where she won the bronze medal in that epic comeback for the United States Women's Seven. And Ramsey played a big part in that. She was the one who passed it to Alex Cendrick. And if you remember, Alex Cendrick was the girl that just took it basically the length of the field for the game-winning try, which clinched a bronze medal for the United States. So shout out to Ariana Ramsey, making Bridgeport, PA proud, Montco proud, Upper Marion proud, Dartmouth proud, all of that good stuff. But Ariana Ramsey is today's Philly Olympic. I'll get it out. I'm tired. It was late night getting home last night. But Ariana Ramsey is our Philly Olympic spotlight of the day. Rugby Sevens player from Bridgeport, PA. On this day, back in 1921, first ever radio broadcast of a Major League Baseball game took place between the Phillies and the Pirates. The Pirates beating the Phillies 8-5 out at Forbes Field. KDKA radio out of Pittsburgh broadcast the game, and the rest, as they say, is history. We'll have more on the Eagles as they try to prep for this. Still no word on if the starters are going to play, but as they prep for Friday's preseason game against the Ravens, can the Phillies make it 2 in a row? If we win a game today, that's 2 in a row. If we win tomorrow, that's called a winning streak. It's happened before. There, I said it. I got the whole quote out for you guys. Worst sequel ever besides Caddyshack 2. Which, you know what? Let's have a little bit of fun on a Monday. And 2 sports movies, 2 great originals, Major League and Caddyshack, 2 not-so-great sequels, Caddyshack 2, Major League 2. Which one was worse, Caddyshack 2 or Major League 2? That's tough, man. That's tough. I think I got to go Caddyshack only because I just used the winning streak quote, and the Phillies did do "You Have No Marbles" last year. So, but let me know what your thoughts are. Which is the worst sequel, Caddyshack 2 or Major League 2? Also, let me know which of our 4 major teams have the best game day experience. Getting a little delirious here on a tired Monday morning. But let's go, Phils. Let's keep this rolling. I want to come back on tomorrow and say we're so back, baby. But I want to be cautiously optimistic about it. But hopefully Bryce keeps it going and we can come on and have some more fun, because doing this podcast is so much more fun when the Phillies win. But go have yourself some Monday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for August 5th, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.